Good morning. Want to talk a little bit about some of these videos and likes and dislikes and whatnot, and then uh, also I have a double sweater. Since these sweaters are from Ireland, they call them sweaters there. That's what I'm going to call them, sweaters. England, they call them jumpers, double jumper. Anyway, I talked about it a while back that I found a turtleneck that would mesh with a Guernsey neck, exactly the same pattern, color pattern, you know. And then also I have a scarf there, so some people call those mufflers, some people call them toboggans, depending on where you're at, right? Anyway, goes around your neck and head, your face. So just an interesting note, for every video that I have been using this, it's the same oil. For since I started doing these Christian videos, so each one is like 15 minutes, so and it's still doing pretty good. Getting a little low, so I'll have to give it some more, but I'm just kind of, this is called the 8 Day by Dietz, so who knows. I'll have to count up all the minutes of the videos, we'll see what we get, right? Anyway, so last week or something like that, I'm not good with keeping track of time, everybody was like going crazy about the 23rd, 24th. I was a bit excited myself, I'll admit. However, I never put my all of my eggs in one basket, so to speak, if it was going to be the rapture, it was going to be the rapture, but you can't generally put any stock in somebody pinning down dates saying this is it, I mean, back in thousands of years ago, people like Ezekiel and Isaiah and Daniel and whatnot, those people were very, very in tune with God. They had to produce a 100% track record on their prophecies, That's why I don't call anything that anybody says a prophecy, because nobody is a designated prophet these days. I mean, it just doesn't happen because there's no, back then people were so in tune with the Lord. There's just not anybody like that anymore. There's not. I hate to say it, but even people that go into cloisters, monks and nuns and whatnot, you just never see it. I think it just is because, as time goes on, people in general will get further and further away from God. That's what I think, I mean, I do my best. I'm not perfect, I mean, I was There were years in my past where I didn't think of God at all, and I'm just being honest with you. You know, as I got older, I've had a lot of things happen to me where God was in my face. You know, and that changed me. And that made me take a close look at myself as a person, a hard look about things. I realized that God is a reality. You can't have evil without good. What are you baselining there? What's evil? You see what I'm saying? You won't even know that evil exists without good existing. You won't, because you'll be just like, oh, that's just how it is. So you got good and evil. There's a devil. There's Satan. There has to be God. Doesn't that make sense? And it's not the Force like in Star Wars. It's not like that. It's not the Force. It's not a God force that is unthinking. Okay. It's not electricity that you can tap into. You can't tap into the Force. I mean, that kind of movie mentality about that sort of stuff. But one thing I wanted to talk about is that I made that video about my confirmation about the rapture coming soon. And it wasn't about any dates in particular. It's just soon. And I'm talking, the Lord says, oh, I'm coming soon. He's been saying that for 2,000 years. But the thing is I wanted to emphasize with Jesus what I meant by soon. I'm talking about in human terms. Like, is it tomorrow? Tomorrow my time? Is it next week my time? Is it within a month or so my time? I mean, how close are we? Are we like really, really close? Like it's going to happen before I get too much older and can't think anymore and won't even know it happened until it happens? I mean, that's what that was about. And I had more than 800 views. I mean, there were like 600 or 700 views within 24 hours. Only got 36 likes, guys. So if anybody's watching this channel that's viewing the videos, you have to subscribe in order to be able to like it. Or you have to be logged in to like it. Do me a favor and like the videos. Because that is how the computer logarithm works. The more people like the video, the more exposure it gets. You see? And if you like the content that I'm giving you, do me the favor to like my videos. Don't just watch them, like them. It shows respect when you like somebody's video. If you like it, then like it. It isn't a difficult situation. I mean, even my old decrepit hands can move my fingers to click the mouse button, right? Like it. Subscribe and like. Don't be afraid. I know. I could tell because I watch some certain channels' videos, especially religious oriented, Christian oriented videos. I could tell from some of their content that they have watched some of my videos. I could tell. I wasn't born yesterday. But I'm not going to say anything about it because I want the information out there. I want that out there. I want to influence other Christians because I'm not getting my material from other YouTubers. All of my material comes from the Word. The Word, the Bible. From understanding through the Holy Spirit. This is where all of my Christian videos come from. The only thing that I will say is that I have noticed that many people are almost spot on with this timeline now. I mean, they are almost all in 100% agreement. Now, I've been looking at this thing for a long time, and I try not to like put numbers to things because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up or whatever. When I first started out with timelines, I came up with 2028 as the second coming. That was for a long while. And then I thought of some things, and I went to 2030. I thought of some things, I saw some things, you know, that made me change my mind, and I went to 2030. And then somebody was like, well, how about these years? Okay, there was this fellow. This is where I got 2031, 2032. I was back and forth between those two. This one fellow, Zaratov guy, and he did all this counting, and then other people did some, because he was the catalyst for everybody to start counting from, you know, following the years from Adam to Jesus, right? And then how many years from Jesus to us. And you got to put all of these biblical things into perspective to come up with that final date. Well, I'm now convinced it's 2032, 2032. I'm convinced of that now. Because prophecy that has unfolded around the world has made that puzzle piece more viable and more realistic than 2031. Okay. Because we have to look at what's going on in the world, not just 1948. 1948, we know that's when the clock started ticking. We all know that. It's fitting in all of the prophecies that have unfolded all of these years. It's fitting all of that together without forcing it to fit together. Understand what I'm saying? And then we got Apophis heading this way. We got Daniel 9:27. We've got the UN, peace and security, you know, peace and safety, peace and security baloney. You know, they're trying to force something there, and they are forcing it. So, and then there are a whole lot of other things. A whole lot of other things that we have discussed. But let's not be fair weather Christians. Okay? And what I mean by that is, don't get all excited one moment because everybody else is getting excited, thinking that, hey, maybe this guy is right, you know. And there's two camps on that. There was a whole lot of people that were, I got a confirmation from a license plate. I got a confirmation from this. You know, that could be psycho, something to do with subliminal, getting caught up in the hype, right? But, you know, I'm not saying that that's bad. I mean, I'm glad that people are excited to see Jesus. I'm really glad about that. Because everybody around me where I live, most people couldn't give diddly, about Jesus. They're just caught up in themselves and in the world and what they're doing tomorrow and what they're doing next week. But when I saw so many people getting excited about Jesus, people dreaming dreams, seeing certain things. I had a confirmation over the radio, but mine wasn't on the 23rd, 24th. Mine was just on the rapture in general. And I believe that 100% was a confirmation directly from God. It wasn't any license plate. It wasn't me, dilly-dallying around with numbers. Nothing. No, it was words coming over the radio. The rapture is soon. So anybody that has fallen away a little bit even in their hope to see Jesus soon, don't do it. Don't fall away, because we are at the cusp of this situation. We've run the race. Don't trip at the finish line. And as far as the mockers and scoffers, just ignore them. They're clowns. You know what? They will reap what they sow. Okay? They will reap what they sow. And I'm not being judgmental, and I'm not mad about it. I had 4 thumbs down over there on my confirmation video. It's in the feed here. A week or so ago. It was before, I think it might have been the 21st. Alright? 4 thumbs down. How can anybody thumbs down somebody getting a verbal confirmation over the radio from the Lord? How can anybody thumbs down a video like that? The only thing that I could think of is that they're very insecure in their beliefs. I'm secure in my beliefs. I have seen and heard things over the years now that I have a 100% belief in Jesus. 100%. You could not shake me out of that belief for anything. Nothing. To the death. I heard God twice in my life. Verbally talking to me in my head. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but I have. One was a verbal warning about something, because I was going to die if I didn't do what God said. And then something else. Something personal. But I heard God twice. But I asked him a question the second time, and he answered me. Just felt this calming effect, like your dad was putting his hand on your shoulder. I mean, it was so reassuring. Never forget it. Anybody could be a mocker or scoffer when they've never had an experience. And they've never seen God in action. Anybody can be a mocker or a scoffer. But denial of truth doesn't make it false. You can deny all day long. Don't bother me. My belief is solid. 100% solid. It will never go away. Never. Will proclaim Jesus to my dying breath. And that's the way you gotta be. We are on this timeline. Sometime between now and a point in the near future, there's going to be a rapture. Things are going to go down. That's right. Things are going to go down. Not cold enough yet. It's not cold enough yet. I got leaves that are falling out there. I can see them. I got a lot of maple trees around me. But, you know, it's a hit or miss thing. Sometimes you get a cold snap and the trees think we're in winter, and then they start changing right away. And then the warmth comes back, so you got some trees that are changing, or some, you know, some trees that are still green, thinking about it. There's this one place in northern New England that I know that I keep it a secret. It's the most beautiful drive in the world. And no, I'm not going to let you know in email. Nope, it's a secret. It's a secret because I don't want everybody and their brother going there. It's amazing. I wish I lived there. It is what it is. This old house is just over 200 years old. Maybe, I don't know, what is it now? I'm thinking 205, 206. It's going to be 206 years old. It's 205 years old. No insulation in this one. That's alright. I got a lot of wool blankets. I'm going to come back in another video here. The next video I'm going to talk about my new wool setup here. I got it out because I know some of you guys are really into autumn and winter, and you like your clothes like I like my clothes. So I'll come back and show you that setup. Or get the old timer here or I'll be in trouble. Always running over. See you there.